Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm colouring in Little Secrets from My Furry House. This is a new release by Klara Markova, and I did get this a couple of weeks ago, but I've not coloured in it yet. So I have picked this page out. This is going to be a body colour with Colour Me Stress Free, so thank you for that body colour. I'm going to be showing you today a little tutorial, and it's going to be how I colour this pear. So as you can see, I already put a little tiny bit of colour down, and I thought, you know what, this would be a good idea to film. So I'm going in first with May Green 170. I am using my Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils. They are my most favourite pencil, so you will see a lot of colourings with these pencils on my channel. I do try to mix it up occasionally by colouring a few times with my Tombow Erogenins and Derwent Colour Softs, but mainly it is the Polychromos. So with this May Green, I am doing a light layer over the whole of the pear. I have kept this video in real time because I'm hoping that it's a bite-sized manageable tutorial that people might want to follow along with this one if you're less confident colouring food like I actually am. There is quite a lot of food items in Klara Markova's books, from sweeties and lollipops to fruits and berries and lots of nice pastries and things like that. So I thought it might be fun to do a few little tutorials. I'm really happy with how this pear came out as well. I googled a reference of a pear so that I could see the type of colours that I wanted to go for, because with fruits they do vary in colours, so I sort of picked one reference that I really wanted to follow and I went with that. So now I'm going in with the Earth Green Yellowish 166, and with this one I'm going in mostly around the edges, and this time with a medium pressure. So all around the edges you'll see it's not grayscale, but it's the way that artists can sometimes show that there's a shadow or a little bit of texture, and it's by putting these sort of dotting detailing in. Now Klara does that a lot in her books. You'll see the little dots around the edges. Sometimes artists might also use what's called cross hatching to put in shadows. So whenever you see anything like this in a colouring book, that's where your shadow would be. It's always nice that artists include that. I particularly like colouring grayscale illustrations. It takes out the guesswork, so you know exactly where they would be. Very basic line art, I think, can be more confusing for new colourists. Although I have heard new colourists say they're scared of grayscale, but I always found that grayscale was easier because I didn't have to try and guess where the shadows or highlights were. It was already done for me, so I was just following whatever the artist had already put in there. But yeah, just goes to show we're all different, we all colour differently, we all find certain things easy and certain things a little bit harder. But I am taking quite a while with this section of the pear. Just trying to smooth it all out really as best I can around those edges. And then down the bottom bit I've missed out, so I'm going in down the bottom. The bottom bit I will also be putting in quite a little bit of a brown colour in there. I think that's why I tried not to put too much pigment down the bottom, because if you go in too harshly you're not going to leave enough tooth in the paper to add more layers. So you want to try and keep it where you know you're going to put extra colours and extra layers. You do want to keep it quite thin, you know, thin light layers in some places, if that makes any sense at all. I feel like I'm rambling. Right now. But I think I'm almost finished with this colour. Just neatening up those edges. I do go into a very, very light pressure when I'm nearing the centre. So this is the raw umber now that I'm going in with, 180. And this is the brown colour that I said I would be bringing into it down the bottom. So if you've looked at a reference picture of a pear, you will notice that some of them have all that sort of brown spotting all over them. I know we have pears over here in our local supermarkets and grocery stores. They're called a conference pear, and they have quite a lot of this browning on them, quite a lot. So what I'm doing is using a very, very hard pressure initially to get, I'd say, a sort of, circular square type of shape. So a hard pressure to get that. And then I'm just easing off into a medium light pressure and buffing round the edges of what I've made with the harsh pencil, if that makes sense, so that it smooths it out, so that you've got that really, really dark bit in the centre, and then you smoothing the edges so it's almost blending into the skin of the pear. And I do it in sort of, you can see they're a cluster, so they're all sort of grouped together quite closely all along the bottom, and then I do take some of it up the sides a little bit. You can see here. So starting off that hard pressure, loosening off into a light pressure to use those circular motions around the edges to buff them out. I like to call it buffing out the edges. So you're almost making it look blurred, if that makes sense. And you can do as much or as little of this as you want. You just keep looking at your own illustration, and if you feel like you've put enough down and you don't want to add any more, that's fine. Or if you stop, take a step back and think, oh, I'd just like a few more in a certain area, just add a few more and then keep taking a step back and have a look. Even hold it from a distance and see what it looks like. Does it look realistic enough for you? Are you not bothered about realism? Are you just liking the way it looks? That's what I tend to do. Or sometimes I've even been known to take a picture of it on my phone, on my camera on my phone, and then have a look back at the picture and what it looks like on the screen like that via a picture. So I'm putting them all in at the top now, all round the top. I'm also using this colour for the stalk of the pear. So a really hard pressure at the base and the top of the stalk, very light pressure towards the middle, because I do come back and add some green into this. So you want to leave a little bit of space. Has anybody else ordered this new book from Klara Markova? If you're interested in purchasing it, but you're put off by the heavy shipping fees and tax on Etsy, I will pop in the details of the lady who I got my book off. There is a Facebook page that is dedicated for Klara Markova fans, and in that Facebook group there is a lovely lady called Tony. Now if you email or message her on Facebook Messenger, she'll give you details and tell you how much it'll cost. I am in the UK and it cost me, I think it was £42. That was with shipping, so that was the price of the book and the shipping together for £42 to the UK. So it is more of a high-end price book, but you're getting quality with Klara Markova's books. They're gorgeous. And if you went through Etsy to try and get this book to the UK, the shipping is horrific, and then they put the tax on top, and 9 times out of 10 it ends up the shipping and tax being more expensive than the actual book, which is awful. So you can see with this brown now, I'm sort of lightly buffing over all of it, so it's like a light layer that I'm going over the whole of it. And I'm doing this to sort of blend all them darker spots of brown into the rest of it, so it doesn't look like it's standing out. It looks like it's part of the skin, part of the pear. And again, I'm going back in with this May green, and this is to bring it all together, to add some more of that green punch back into it. Mainly going around the edges, trying to leave that highlight in the centre still, but closing in on it a little bit more this time, a little bit more than we initially did at the start. This is the time for trying to get all your edges smooth, because what I'm doing all around the edges now is burnishing with this pencil. And by burnishing, you're bringing all the layers together, and you're going in with a hard, medium to hard pressure. You're smooshing all those colours together, and once you've burnished something, you generally can't go in with any more layers then. So before you burnish anything, you want to make sure that you've definitely got it how you want it to be. So you can see I've brought it a bit more through to the centre. Still got that little bit of a highlight there, but I have brought the colour in. Going in with a cream now, 102. And because we didn't bring that green through to the centre, the highlight wasn't burnished. So I'm using the cream to burnish the highlight basically, so that we've got all that colour locked in. And then sometimes using a colour like this can sort of put like a white or a light film around the rest of the colours. So I go back in with the May green just around the edges of where I've put the cream, and that will blend it all back in nicely. I hope that makes sense. So now I'm going back in with the earth green yellowish 166, and that's the green we're going to add to the stalk. So I think I was using a light to medium pressure here, maybe more medium where I'm going over the brown bits, and lighter towards the centre of the stalk. I'm now using my Derwent electric eraser just to tidy up some of the edges where I've gone over the lines. I do make a boo-boo in a minute, as you will see. I don't normally use this electric eraser, it's new to me. So I made a schoolboy error, which you'll see any second. It is embarrassing, but I thought I'll leave it in because whoopsies happen. It's right around here. Oh, I ripped the paper. Yep, I ripped the paper. So now I'm going in with a May green 170, and I'm going to colour the leaves. So as I did with the pear, I'm going to base all of the leaf with this May green, light pressure over everything. So there's 2 leaves here, so I will be doing both the exact same. You may notice that you really don't need to use many colours. I've used about 3 or 4 pencils for this pear. So you really do not need to put too much colour in. So that's that all filled in nicely. So now getting some depth into the leaf by using the chrome oxide green. And I'm going to use this colour all around the outsides. So like we did with the pear, how we went round the outsides with a hard pressure, I'm going to do that with a leaf. So I'm initially following the line art with a hard pressure, and then easing off into a medium pressure, and then as we get right to the centre, I'm going into a light pressure, so that it's only very, very dark on the edges. I find colouring leaves like this quite easy Sometimes I have coloured them a little bit differently, where, do you see the sort of, do you call it a vein of a leaf, or I think it's a vein of a leaf, the one that goes all the way down the centre, and then there's sort of little ones that branch off. Sometimes I do go over all of them and follow it with a hard pressure with a dark pencil, and then everything else around it lighter. You can colour leaves several different ways. You know, there's so much variety in leaves, but I just really wanted to do it this way for this one. It looks like on this leaf that a little caterpillar has been taking a little nibble out of it there. So I did do the edge of that dark as well with a hard pressure. Now you can see how I'm bringing a light layer of it into the middle. That's just so when I go back in with that lighter green, they're going to merge really, really nicely. It's not going to be like a harsh line from dark to light. It's going to blend. You can almost create another separate colour as well by putting pencils on top of other pencils, and you can create a new colour, and that creates a really nice, interesting blend as well. I will be doing a beginner's guide to colouring pencils at some point. It is in the works. I've just been racking my brain and jotting down my notes of what I want to say in the video and what little tutorials or little bits of something I want to show in the video. So if you are new to colouring, or you're just interested in seeing how I colour, because everyone's different, and little tips, watch out for that one. Please do subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. That way when it does go up, you won't miss it. I think I started slowing down on this second leaf. I think I was getting a bit tired. I have been colouring this page all day. It has taken me quite a long time. But we picked this one because it seemed like one of the less busier pages, shall we say, because it is the very front page, the sort of title page. So it didn't seem like it had as much going on, but it has took, gosh, how many hours would I say? I want to say about 5 hours. I am a slow colourist though. I was contemplating using a bit of watercolour on this page, because I have been told that it can take watercolour as long as you don't, drown it in water. But I chickened out. Chickened out and did it all in pencil. But I think I'm going to pop a few accents with my metallic watercolour at the end, possibly. A few little details here and there with it. I think I'm nearing the end of this colour now. We're getting to the end. I like all the details, like when you've coloured something and then you go in with your little details. I love that. I actually enjoy putting all those little brown spots into the pear. I think you can really put your own stamp on things, doing the little details. And here I'm going back in with the May Green, 170. So hard pressure, and I'm burnishing with this pencil. I'm just burnishing with it. So really hard pressure, as hard as you like, just filling in all that white space. And then where you left those lighter areas in the centre, this colour is really going to get into those areas, and then you can see the different tones of green. So it looks like a nice little shine. There's nothing more pretty than the different colours in leaves, is there? Especially autumn time when you've got the reds and the oranges and the yellows in the leaves. So beautiful. But this is the easy part. This is the easy part. Just going in with that all over. Coming towards the tip of the leaf now, and then I think that's done. So the fun bits now, because I love the white gel pen, and it's coming. And this is the one I'm using. It's the Uniball Signal. And I'm just going to put lots of white gel pen detailing in. I find Klara Markova's books so magical and so whimsical that I like to put this sort of dotting detail in quite a lot. So how she's got the black little dots that she puts in, I like to emulate that but with the white gel pen. So I like putting the white dots dotted around over everything. And that's what I've done for the whole page. When I zoom out at the end, you'll see all the dot work that I've actually done on the page. You can see there a little bit of a highlight on the stalk. You can really do this as you see fit. It doesn't have to be in the same place as I'm putting it, but you can see I'm just doing tiny little dots. And I think I do some on the leaves. Oh, I'm still on the pear, still dotting on the pear. But you can see that. I should have zoomed in a little bit more here, I think, but I think you can just about see it. And then now I'm doing some little floral ones on these leaves. So I do one dot in the centre, and then I go around with 5 dots around the outside, so it almost looks like a little flower. And some on the other leaf. I actually found this little detail from the Draw a Lovely You colouring book. The book had references on one side, and the artist had actually used this little detailing, and I thought that looks super cute, so I started doing it in quite a lot of my colouring pages. And there we go, we've somehow turned our pear into a cute little whimsical pear, just by putting in some little details. And that's it finished, guys. I do hope you enjoyed this and found it useful. I hope you was able to follow along easily. Please do hit the thumbs up on the way out, subscribe if you're new. And if you got this far into the video, let me know what's your favourite animal down in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.